Apple unveiled a flood of cool new toys today. We get a peek at what the creators of Celeste are working on next. And we hear from the director of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. All that and the latest and everything cool today in the Rundown. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Victor Lucas, and it is my pleasure and my privilege to be able to bring you the Rundown. And today we are dedicating the show to Chris in Color, who is very excited about the show and the topics that we've got to talk about today. So without further ado, let's get started with your Rundown. Apple had a big spring event today, and of course, the one and only Tim Cook took center stage to tell the world that they've got a bunch of new products that they are cooking up for us, and they're going to go on sale relatively soon. I think next week you're going to be able to pre-order a bunch of cool things, and I kind of picked my favorites. There were lots of different ideas in here, including a new color for the iPhone, but it wasn't really that got me super excited. I'm a fan of Apple TV, and Apple was able to showcase a brand new 4K revision of the Apple TV with an emphasis on some faster frame rates and including HDR support, which is pretty impressive, particularly for sports fans out there that happen to have 120 hertz HDR compatible television sets. One of the cool things that they showed off is you're able to put your phone onto your television set to kind of adjust all of the color parameters, and it's just a really interesting way to kind of see the synergies that Apple has got across all of its products. Of course, Apple has been doing some pretty cool things with its television programming. We have been big fans of Ted Lasso over in our house, and Mythic Quest is kind of cool, and there's, some other shows out there too, which is kind of insane to think that Apple is actually a content creator out there, but it kind of is represented by the quality of their event streams, which again was absolutely outstanding. I think the hottest thing for me today, though, was the reveal of the new M1-focused iMac machines that are out there. And for the first time in a long time, Apple is really leaning into a bunch of different colors that people can choose for their specific iMac devices. They're ridiculously thin, kind of speaking to what came up a little bit later in the program, but they look really cool, and it's a nice new revision on the iMac. I'm streaming off of the iMac that I have right now, which is a fairly powerful machine. I'm able to do a lot of editing on it, but I am certainly salivating with the idea of upgrading to one of these new very rainbow fresh iMacs that again go on pre-order next week, and then they're going to start shipping in the middle of May. So I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on one of these things and to reading all of the expert opinions that are going to be out there. I'll check in with Brian Tong and Renee Ritchie and get their thoughts on these machines as well, but I'm super excited about the brand new iMacs. But wait, there's more. Apple also wanted to talk about an M1 chip infused iPad Pro that is going to be coming out next month as well. Again, it's up for pre-order soon, and the top of the line model, the 12.9-inch model, has the Super XDR screen technology with 10,000 mini LEDs implanted in the device. It's incredibly fast, and one of the things that they're doing with this new M1 chip platform is parity across iOS and the Mac computer system, so you can actually run iOS apps on your computer and, of course, have all kinds of other things running on the screen at the same time. But the new iPad Pro, of course, is much, much faster and much, much slicker, and they're touting all of its, console quality visuals. They added some of the camera technology that's in the most recent iPhones to this device, but they also added a super wide camera to the front-facing a super wide camera for the front-facing camera on the iPad Pro, which allows for something they call center stage, where it will digitally follow the people in front of the camera around, which is kind of cool. So if you want to make a cooking show with your iPad Pro, you can do that now, which is pretty rad. The other cool thing that they showed off is something that's been rumored forever, and I like the way that they showed it off today. They have this this kind of guy falling into the couch looking for his keys, and he's like, he sees his cat. I just like this sort of digging into the depths of hell that is his couch, all of the change and everything in there. And then eventually he finds that he's got his keychain hooked up to the Apple tags. And what this is going to be, of course, is it pairs up with Find My, which is the app that's embedded on all the iOS devices, all the Mac devices now. And you can put locators on everything. I don't know if you can put a locator on a mushroom, but if Apple wants to do it, I'm sure they could. But I think that these are going to be very handy. I don't know about you guys, but we lose stuff in our place all the time, and so now we can go ahead and tag everything, which is kind of crazy. I think they're like $30 US, and those will be launching soon as well. But yes, really for me, this spring event was very exciting because of these new iMacs, which I'm crazy about the look of these. I just hope that they run everything well. Of course, moving to this M1 platform has meant that there's had to be some adjustments on some of the apps so that they run natively and super fast, because that's the expectation now. Apple's brought all of its own chip architecture in-house, so there is this, kind of expectation that everything is going to be much slicker and run much better than it ever has before. Oh, that's the other thing, too. They finally added a 1080p camera to the iMac. So, I can't wait to check those out, and who knows, maybe in the next couple of months, I will be cutting and streaming off of a brand new colorful iMac. What color iMac should I get? I'm thinking the Batwing dark blue. What do you guys think? All right, we've got some other big stories out there, and this one is near and dear to my heart. The Vancouver-based developers at Everything OK have announced that they've got a new game in development. It's still very early days. It's called Earthblade, but these are the folks that brought us the seminal and absolutely wonderful Celeste, which will knock your socks off by its artistry and how difficult and challenging it is, but also how fair it is and how wonderfully crafted this game is. Now, Earthblade, what they've done to show it off, because they don't want to reveal something too early, they're calling this kind of like a vibe reveal, and there's kind of a trailer out there, although it doesn't really show gameplay. The game is supposed to be a 2D action-adventure game with beautiful pixel art, and they kind of showcase the setting and, of course, the lush music, because that was one of the best things about Celeste, is we can expect some wonderful, wonderful music out of Earthblade. And the release date, you'll notice there, it's coming 20XX, which leaves a lot of dates open on the calendar. I guess we have until 2099. But hopefully it will be out well before then. I love this team, headed up by Matty Thorson, and I'm just, I'm a big fan, and I'm just so excited that, of course, more is on the way. And if you haven't ever checked out Celeste, do yourself a favor. It's available on everything. I think, in fact, it's available on Game Pass, and we're going to be talking about Game Pass here in a second. But yeah, I can't wait to play Earthblade. That is going to be a lot of fun. Now, there are a bunch of games that are hitting Game Pass today, and we're going to be playing one of them, MLB The Show 21. That's not all. Game Pass is loaded with all kinds of new games hitting the service every month. Of course, sometimes things get taken away, which is par for the course with a lot of subscription-based stuff. But this is an incredibly important month for Game Pass. The idea that a PlayStation developed title has hit the platform is incredibly significant. I've checked out the game already on the PlayStation 5, and I've downloaded it to the Xbox Series X. It's, what you would expect out of a seasoned development team like Sony San Diego. It's really, really fun to play. But there's other titles that are coming throughout the month of April. One of them that's really cool is the Destroy All Humans. I guess it's a remake or a remaster. I think it's a remake. I think it sort of veers more to the remake. So everything's been up-resed, and it's got that same sort of smart-ass sense of humor. You get to go and do all kinds of carnage as an alien on, a planet that is just not able to figure you out. And so you create havoc in this sort of pseudo-1950s reality that's in the game, and you're manipulating people and lifting them up and blasting at them with all kinds of cool alien technology. And of course, you fight the military. This is a lot of fun. I didn't play this game when they released it last year, but now that it's coming to Game Pass, I have no excuse. I'm definitely going to check this out. Also happy to see that Fable 3 and Fable Anniversary are both hitting Game Pass this month. I'm surprised that they haven't already been there. Maybe they had them there for a bit and then they took them out, but these were pretty amazing games. I think I'm a bigger fan of the original Fable than Fable 3. I remember really digging Fable 2, but these were, pretty substantial role-playing games made with a very sort of light touch and a very clever sense of humor. Lots of great choices that you had throughout the experience. Lots of great powers that you acquire as well. That game, that series is really fun. And I know that Microsoft is, spinning up towards bringing Fable back again. So this is good. I mean, you wet your whistle with some of the early days of Fable, which is pretty cool. And then the other one that we actually saw with the Xbox Series X hype last year as the machine was launching is this Second Extinction game, which when I saw the trailer initially, I thought, oh, here comes Turok again. It's back. But it's basically, it looks like it's a little bit of a Gears of War, Destiny type thing against dinosaurs. And it's in early access, or game preview as they call on Xbox. But you're going to be able to download that this month on Game Pass and check it out and see if the combat is kind of sticky and if you dig it. But you get to fight these badass dinosaurs, which actually looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, which, one of the perks of being a Game Pass subscriber is not only all the, the revisits to classic releases and all of these indie titles that are kind of trying to find a home out there, but then, of course, Xbox has this ability to offer early access type content like they're doing with Grounded, Obsidian's title, which is actually pretty fun, kind of like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of deal. But Second Extinction will be in there as well. Now, I've got a couple of other quick things that I want to tell you about. And first up, I want to tell you that I had a fantastic conversation with Kari Skoglund. She is the director of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I wanted to give you guys a little taste. Welcome to the show, Kari Skoglund. You know her work from fantastic series like The Walking Dead and Vikings and The Punisher, but most recently, the wonderful The Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney+. Kari, I have to tell you, it is an absolute thrill to speak with you because I feel like this show is a bit of magic that's happening on my TV every week. And you're all doing such wonderful work in this series. It's so much fun to escape into this world, especially as a longtime comic nerd like myself who spent all of his paper route money on comic books, and now we get shows like this. I cannot believe it. Talk to me about finding your way to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Was this something that was long in gestation, you working with Marvel, or
we
did it come quickly?
Talked back and forth on a couple of projects, and then this one came along and they asked me, what my thoughts were, and I went in and presented my ideas. And from the beginning, I really felt it was the most important show of the century. It was going to talk about themes and ideas and present and really take what a hero has been and look at what it might need to be, what the relevance of a hero in the classic, the cornerstone to the mother of all superheroes, or the father of all superheroes is Captain America. And we were going to really look at that, and that to me made it important, not just from the racially charged conversation that we were going to embrace, but also just simply what does a hero need to be. It was born of the need to be a soldier warrior. And I think even as 9/11, and much earlier I suppose, but 9/11 was one of the seminal moments where a hero evolved to be a first responder. And then from there, frontline worker. And that became even more relevant as we were shooting through the pandemic. So that conversation is very much a part of the DNA of what we are seeing. And I felt that to be very, very important, not just for, as a construct for the MCU world, but for all of us as fans and for the world at large.
Yeah, it's not lost on me that we're recording this interview during the last days of the Derek Chauvin, George Floyd trial that's happening right now. And there are some really important statements about Black representation and how Sam Wilson figures into the world of the MCU, but the world in general. And it's complicated material to tackle, but I think it speaks to the value of the MCU and comic books and how they can kind of speak to broader themes and important messaging that we all need to hear, no matter how complicated it is, right?
Exactly. We also minimize the use of guns, if you'll notice.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The action sequences are not fighting for fighting's sake, violence for violence sake. They're always story or character motivated. They're fun, obviously, and that's part of what we love about MCU, but we also try to really give each one of them its own unique quality, I guess. And so you'll note a shift in that as well. So yes, this is the messaging that we need to now start to embrace, and through I call it vitamins in the ice cream.
She is amazing. She is a Canadian, by the way. She hails from Ottawa, Ontario. You should do a little Wikipedia look-see at her resume. Incredible person. I've got more to show, and I definitely will. But I could talk with her for hours because she's got some terrific insight in there. So stay tuned. I'm going to have the full interview with Kari Skoglund up very soon. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is this rumor that's floating around the internet right now based on a screen capture of an event that's happening here at Microsoft's GameStack event. It's happening today, and this has been something that's been talked about quite a bit. I've talked about it on this channel before, but basically during the event, we saw the Switch pop up in the background of some comments, and Tom Warren from The Verge actually tweeted out this still out there. Microsoft's GameStack event is starting now, and there's a shelf, opens Photoshop to examine the pixels, and you can see the Switch is prominently positioned back there. And so that is getting a lot of people to speculate that Game Pass is finding its way to Switch or xCloud or some derivation, some version of what Microsoft is offering its subscribers out there may eventually hit the Switch. I actually I posted a poll today on Twitter. It was only up for a couple hours, and I got some pretty instant feedback. I had 419 votes pretty quickly, and I see people say that eventually it will. Ninty Fan 1991 said nope, doubtful. I can't read all of the ones out there because my little video window is pretty small, but you can see people had some strong opinions about whether or not we're going to see the Game Pass service on the Switch. 43% say yes, 56% say no. So I think it's kind of a possibility, like stranger things are happening. Today we got a PlayStation game on the Xbox, so definitely there's some weird threading going on in the video game industry. I want to know, though, from you guys, would you like to see the Game Pass on Nintendo Switch, or is that too much of crossing the streams, Ghostbusters style? Is that too uncomfortable for you? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments below. But that's going to do it for the rundown. I'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new episode for you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. And until then, play forever.